Hey, Frank here. Want to have a chat about something that has come up a lot in the last few weeks. And last week it really came to a head, and that is these three letters. No, I'm not transitioning. These mean something entirely different now. If you're in the Hollywood studio system or you're anywhere near the movie business, you've heard this word being spoken. I'm not even going to say it because I don't want the algorithm to take this away, so I'll put it in the comment below, but I think you know what it is once I start talking. People have asked me recently, people that I know really well, people that actually helped me getting the womb, even distributors, saying, Frank, you're a great writer and all. Why don't you write a spec script? Why don't you try to get back into that, in the studio system? And I go, you don't understand. I understand what's happening right now, and there's no possibility that I will get in, and it's not worth my effort to spend so much time trying to be accepted into that world again. Because as my agent said, if you want to stay in business as a writer or an actor or anything, you feed the machine, meaning you give them what they want. You don't buck the system. You don't change everything like I do. Every time I get onto a project, I'm always wanting to change it into something that I think would work even better. And whether or not that's true, that it does, it pisses people off. And it pisses them off because, listen, we don't really honestly care how great the movie is. Everyone gets paid. And that's the point. And I've had another friend of mine said, Frank, you're never going to go back to the system of having a crew because you do everything now. And I go, I want a crew. He says, well, you don't understand. People are afraid to hire you because you're basically doing everything. And they know that when you get a whole cast and crew, a real big crew, you're probably going to want to control everything. And you're not understanding that film production is not about making great movies. It's about giving everybody a job. And everyone gets to go home and everything. Making a great film, well, that's up to the gods. We don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work, so why try? Okay, could be true, might not be true, but I've gone through this before. See, people don't remember that about 10 or 15 years ago, we went through a huge lawsuits against studios for ageism. Anybody over 40, 45 was not even hired. And that was another secret memo that came out, and there were lawsuits and everything. And the thing about that was, back then, this is what I said. I said, listen, to think that a person that's over 40 or 45 has no idea what the youth market would want is bullshit, because most of us became fathers and we had children. And every time my son got a new toy, like a Ghostbusters, and we watched the movies, I was playing with him as much as he did. You see your childhood again, but you have the skill to be able to write it. You have that skill now. And so you're actually more valuable. And the way I really put it now is where we've gone today is to take the old story of the lawyer. Remember, there's always the young lawyer comes in like Tom Cruise, and he comes into a law firm, and there's a big guy that he revered, and he really wants to meet him and all, and he finds out he's not the man he thought he was. He's older now, he doesn't believe that he can beat these cases and all, and he takes the easiest way out. That's at least how the young kid sees him. And so when they get into a case and everything, and it could actually go one way or the other, and the older guy's going, he should just take a plea deal because I don't think he's going to be able to beat this case. And the young guy's going, no, but we got to try. Why would you want this guy to serve even one day in jail? And he goes, that's not how the system works. Feeding the machine. That's not how it works. How it works is we get him the best deal he can get right now. He takes that plea deal. He doesn't go to jail but a year. And he's going, but he's not guilty. And then it doesn't matter. So what happens usually in that is the older guy's not even on that case. And the younger guy now is in front of the judge, trying to do the case, doing all this and all, and failing miserably. And who comes in is the old guy. And he comes in and he helps the young guy. He gives him a couple of tidbits and all, and they win. And this guy doesn't serve one bit of jail time. But the older guy always says, that's just one. You can't do this all the time, because it doesn't work. He still isn't a believer. But he has that moment where he gets back the youth, that idea that we fight for something we believe in. Well, now, with this, and the way DEI is now, it's basically, I think, the opposite. And I'll tell you why. Because now, when people come into the system, 20, 25-year-olds, and they're on a writing team for a streaming service for a youth-oriented show, There's nobody outside that box. Not like what I did in Constantine. Yeah, I made the movie better. I threw out everybody's script, but I pissed a lot of people off, and that probably hurt my career. As my agent says, feed the machine, you don't lose your career. You can twist things a little bit, but you can't go too far. No one really cares about making the greatest movie. They care about everyone getting their paycheck. So when you come into that system now and you're a young kid and everything, and you're 24 and you have all these aspirations of writing, you find out very quickly there is a protocol now. There's a protocol of things you can and cannot say. So it's really hard to go outside the box, and you start falling in line with all the other people, and you're writing the same thing that you've seen on every show that you've ever seen. You're not taking risks because you can't afford to take a risk. What if they don't like your risk and then you get fired? And now you don't have a job and you're back down working at Jerry's Diner and everything, trying to get tips, you know, for your mortgage or your rent. But here's how I really think it should go. In that scenario, what happens is the young lawyers are doing the case, right? And they come up against a roadblock, right? And they don't know what to do. And they go back and they're trying to figure out, how do we do this? How do we do this? And they're all scared. Same thing as writers now. And it's the old guy that says, what is wrong with you people? Think outside the box. Where is your creativity? Where is your sense of wonder? And I'm talking about writers nowadays, because I'm telling you, every single show I see, pretty much almost all of them, have no sense of wonder. The Spielberg magic that made him so famous was not showing the shark for the longest time. Yes, the shark wouldn't really work. That's what happened. But Close Encounters is the movie that got me into making movies. That sense of wonder of what are these things coming around the corner with a little child in the road and all. And it's that sense of wonder that's missing in almost every superhero movie. Where is the moment where we're seeing something that even the characters are going, wow? There's none of that anymore. And what happens is people of my age, people back then in those times, can tell the young people now, you guys are stale. You're the stale people. You're not doing anything new. You're not advancing anything here. You're not thinking outside the box. You're not remembering what it was to be a little child. And maybe being a child nowadays is a lot worse. Maybe there isn't that sense of wonder because people are so telling their kids, you know, either everything out there is going to kill you or you can do anything you want. So I look at it as different now. I look at the ageism now as, man, it's the older people. They're going to be telling the younger people, you're being too stale. You're too rigid in your approach because you're afraid to get fired. I'm doing something now. I'm finally sitting down and writing again what I want. And the way you write is don't ever judge yourself while you're writing. And I sit down and I close my eyes and I can see the movie in my head and then I go write it. And I wear this little thing here now, this little DJI mic, even when I'm on the elliptical, and I just talk. And that helps me formulate the idea, and when the body's in motion, boy, does it work better, and it creates better. And I would advise that to anybody. When I used to jog is when I used to actually work out every screenplay I ever wrote. And I stopped doing that. I stopped thinking about those type of things, and I started thinking about the problems of the world. None of that's gonna help. Maybe writing something could help. I don't know. I just know now I don't need to think about going back to the studio system at all. I can just go forward with what I'm doing and enjoy life. And I suggest if you can try that, try it. That's just me, just being frank. Thanks a lot.